if you want to save your gold, you can do it over a piece of clean paper or something and do that right there, and then fold it up and drop it into and then put it in your thing for your fudge at Christmas if you want. The guys who really do a lot of gold, who lay a bunch, they'll have one of those little handheld little vacuum cleaner things that's exclusively for sucking up skewings, and then they'll dump it into something afterwards. But
a lot of us have sucked up to something.
Speak for yourself,
Now this gives me, everything's gilded in there, and then I'll come back in before I peel this sheet off. I'll take a little tiny brush and I'm going to outline right in there and then peel the whole thing off. So we'll have gold with a black outline on it. I don't know if we'll have time to actually get to that today, but or the outlining part, but that's basically how that's done. Let me go ahead and put some. We'll do the tiger paw. We'll do this in that variegated. Now the variegated gold and the silver leaf is thicker, so you're not quite as concerned about drying time on there. You can put this on a little sooner than this kind of gold because this is a thicker sheet. Same way with the silver leaf, and I can handle it like that. Now you couldn't handle the 23K like this.
Is there a front and back to that variegated?
Nope. It's all just however you want to lay it on. I don't really like it to look too smooth, so I like to kind of bunch it up a little bit, and then you just lay that on there. And
Both do on the table. Leave it on the table if you can.
oh, okay, yeah. Now you see how it's not completely laid down, and so what you want to do there, you don't want to press it with your fingers again because you can press it in there. What you want to use here is the heel of your hand, like if you were doing a truck door or something and you want to bang that stuff on there, and you just take the heel of your hand because there's no grease on there and just lightly tap it down.
Give it a karate chop.
Yeah, just give it a little karate number there. And then again, we'll just, can you see that?
Leave it on the table. Now.
Yeah.
Hold on and then. You're moving a lot and I'm trying to catch
I'm sorry. And there again, I've sized it and then I'm edge on there. So that's what you're seeing here is the outline coming off. And then I'll just take a little tiny brush and just go in there and fill it all in around the outline and then peel the whole thing off. Now this could also be done, you wouldn't necessarily have to have a pattern or a stencil for it. You can take this size and take a brush and actually just paint that tiger paw on there and do exactly what I did right there. So it's just like painting it on.
When you talk about filling that in with a small brush, what are you filling it in with?
Enamel paint. Let's see. That would be One Shot Enamel, which is the same brand that makes this. It's a lettering enamel. It used to have a lot of lead in it. Of course, they don't have that anymore. But you could use pretty much any enamel. You don't want to use latex on there because it just doesn't stroke very well. But enamel with a little tiny brush. And that's really, I mean, what you're seeing us do up here right now is pretty simple. It's not any big deal. The skill part of this really is the outlining, you know. And I just use, a really small brush and dip it in black, and then I work it out, palette it a little bit, and then just drag it around. Like I say, when you do have an outline or a stencil like this, you don't have to worry about that outside edge. It's already covered. So you can overlap, you can go way on that, you can go anywhere you want in the white on the outside, because that's going to be taken out. All you got to do is we'll just be careful to go around the gold part, you know.
Let me ask you something, when you're making your stencils, you do that with a plotter with a cutter on it, or?
Yeah. Although, if you don't have a plotter with a cutter on it, you could take a stencil material and just take it and cut it out with an X-Acto.
I guess one of these Cricut machines would probably do a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, I'm not a big Cricut fan, but but yeah, I mean it would work, yeah. And the material, now this is what I use, it's called a Gerber mask. And I'll pass that around. It's, you could take an X-Acto knife and cut that out. And then you just peel it out, and what you use is a transfer tape and stick it on there. The transfer tape goes on top, and then you just peel the backing sheet off and stick it down directly onto the surface. That's the adhesive part there. The nice thing about this is it removes easily, so that helps a lot on a project like this. If you get something that's too aggressive, you can have problems getting it off. Let's see what else we wanted to go over here. Oh, I'll go ahead and leaf these. Now these are also just little elements I got over at Home Depot. I'm sure y'all make stuff a whole lot nicer than that, but this gives you an idea of how this works. The same thing we could, let's see. Again, on something like this, you sort of have to, like I'll lay that on there, and then we'll take this little stencil brush here and jam it in there. Now on something like this, you know, you were talking about doing a double gild or twice on there, and usually what you have to do is you cover it, and then you'll knock it all off with the makeup brush, and then you'll just go back and almost cover it again. But you don't have to resize it. You just lay some more gold on it. Let's set that right here.
But the gold will stick to itself.
No, it doesn't stick to itself. No, once it's only sticking to the size, but you just have to make sure it gets into the size. Now, one thing I like to do when you're sizing something like this and then you lay it down, it'll puddle up in those low spots, and then you'll have a nice gild on the high spots and a drowned gild on the inside. So what I like to do is put a couple little nails or pins or whatever you need, and once you put that size on there, then just flip it upside down, and it doesn't puddle on you. It's not that big a problem unless you've got really deep grooves. That's why I didn't go upside down on those. That shouldn't be a problem there. And now if you're going flat on something, here's a little trick I found out, especially on a big letter, like for example something like this right here, and you're gilding that and you've got a whole bunch of things, and it's depending on your light, unless you're outdoors, sometimes it's hard to see if you know where you missed, especially if you've got a yellow background, and you know, so I'll take a piece of that's the rouge paper that's already had the gold off of there, and you lay that on top, and I don't know why, but you just lay that on there and work it around like that, and anywhere you missed, it's like a dark spot under there, so it makes it real easy to see where you missed. For example, all right, now, right here, there's a spot. Now, you probably can't even see that.
Hold it toward the camera.
There's a spot that's missed, or either it's, you know.
Hold it still, yeah. All right, go ahead.
Now, once you lay that rouge paper on there, you can see how it makes a little dark, just a little bit of a dark spot right there.
Yeah, shade.
And it kind of, and so that's a real easy way to check to see if you missed something. And there again, you know, for the most part, it's not a problem. On something like this, you don't want to miss anything. On something like that letter, you can miss a couple of spots and nobody's going to ever know. So I'm checking that. That looks good. Okay, that's covered. Let's see. Oh, Urban wanted me to mention to you guys about this. If anybody's interested, this is a Gilders convention in New Orleans is coming up, and I would imagine there's going to be some amazing things there. So, and there's also some Gilders Tip magazines if anybody would like to take any of those, and some flyers for Urban stuff. Go ahead and get this piece done. You know, brush that one off for me.
Okay.
And let's see.
You missed a spot here.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing this thing so long I can spot one.
I figured. That's why I was gonna let you do that part.
You're gonna have to start calling Wayne Goldfinger. Reverend Goldfinger.
I've been called worse.
Now that one, I just about got the whole thing in one sheet here. But I'll take some pieces like that right there and just kind of catch those corners or any little spots that are obvious I missed.
If you're doing an outdoor sign, how many coats of the spar varnish would you use?
Just one. Now, if you were doing a Chris Craft boat, maybe 2 or 3.
And if he's a millionaire, I have a dozen.
Yeah, there you go. It's like I say, it's only if it's going to be handled or washed or something like that that you'd want to do that, because you really do lose some of your shine from it. But on the other hand, that beats having it scratched off too. So, but on most things, I try not to do any clears on it.
As it wears down on the boat, you go back up and redo them?
Yeah, but they'll last a long time. I mean, I did one.
You don't have to go all the way down to the surface and start over?
No, now if you can't really do a touch-up on a gild that's been clear coated, you pretty much have to redo the gild, but you can do it right on top of the old one, so that's not a problem. Yeah. And we're just gonna knock that off there.
Now, for example, the Georgia Dome, when they re-gilded it, do they just put it on top of the old gild that was there?
Yeah,
And they use the same technique?
It's the exact same technique, which I can't imagine sitting up on top of a roof putting on little 3-inch squares of gold.
I can't imagine that being done there anyway.
Yeah. But, like Ralph mentioned, though, it's not a lost art or anything. I don't know why you don't see more gold over here, but you go over to England and go to Buckingham Palace, and they've got this really ornate gate all the fence all the way around, and these gates, and every tip and every little ornament on that gate is gold leafed. I mean, it must be tons of
Have
gold.
anything to do with when you decrease your interest in art, you sort of get by with, anything is all right. You don't need to put that extra finery on there.
Bingo, that's it.
I think it's part of that.
The whole thing about, I mean, I hate to say it, but Americans generally tend to look at something like this and go, well,